What's good, Black Star Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jared. Y'all, today we're gonna be reviewing a video from a couple videos from TikTok. Now, Greenville, South Carolina did get hit by Hurricane Helene, and now there's warnings of Hurricane Milton on his way. What I'm about to review right now is going to be different from what I usually review. And I want you guys to keep in mind the gravity of the situation. But let's go ahead and get started.
You want to hear something that's probably going to piss you off? This is information coming from EnergySecurityUA.org. Did you know that this year we have given 1,093 generators, 93 miles worth of steel and pre-insulated pipe, 3,297 first aid kits, one 28 megawatt gas turbine power plant, which is big enough to provide power to 100,000 homes, schools, hospitals, etc., 11 auto transformers, 1,500 miles worth of wire and cable, 124 mobile boiler houses, which would help keep heat flowing through and during emergencies, hospitals, that sort of thing. 243 emergency shelters. Guess how many people that would house? Thousands. 460 tons of transformer oil, 20,151 gas sector support equipments, that's for natural gas, 7,033 tons of industrial salt, 125 heat pumps, 85 excavators, 5 stationary boiler houses to provide heat and hot water, 30 drones and 30 iPads to control the drones, 6,007 tons of methanol, 495 instrumental transformers, 547 circuit breakers, 28 sets of disconnectors for the control cabinets, 203 power transformers, 10 bucket trucks, 50 emergency vehicles, 1 entire mobile data center, 35 relay protection equipment sets, 28 sets of IT equipment, and 91 cogeneration units, which would keep the heat flowing and that sort of thing to protect the elderly and those with disabilities. This was all sent to Ukraine. And here we are with thousands of people without homes, without electricity, without basic supplies and food. And we wonder why the government's not stepping in to help. But you know what? I have to say, we Americans, you guys, are amazing. Look at everyone who's come together, give their time, their money, their resources, drive trucks. People are doing what they can. Citizens are doing what they can. We are taking care of each other, and that's what America is. America is all about the citizens. It has nothing to do with who's in Washington. So keep up the work, guys. Keep protecting one another. Keep helping one another. We are Americans. And this is what true America is about.
You want to know something crazy? Everything she listed could have literally been used here in the United States, in the South, to help millions of people across North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and other states that were hit by this hurricane. Not only was that equipment sent overseas, but also Zelensky just came over here and got almost $9 billion. Meanwhile, these clowns are offering you only $750 as a one-time disaster relief payment. $750 ain't even enough to even fucking pay for rent. And then Kamala Harris had the nerve to tell you to go online and sign up for it. And people are getting denied left and right. I've been trying to stay away from the political shit and the politics. And I've also been trying to stay away from this because this has got a lot to do with the way that this government has failed the state, the country, and failed itself. I'm gonna tell you something, Americans. I'm gonna tell you something, people of America. You may not know it, but a lot of Americans are getting even more angry. Let me explain to you why. You have people paying more in taxes, can barely afford to pay bills. And then you had President Biden. Let me see if I can find that clip right quick. President Biden tell us to help out and give money to others because the government doesn't have the money. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that speech. Helene. Oh yes, we gonna have some fun today. This isn't my typical. This isn't me typically what I try to cover. But I want you to hear what this clown has to say.
Hello, folks. Good morning. To state the obvious, over the weekend, with devastating storms in the South. I spoke for a couple hours with leaders yesterday affected by this hurricane, and Governor Kemp of Georgia, Governor Cooper of North Carolina, county officials in the Big Bend region of Florida, and other leaders in South Carolina and Tennessee about the broad and devastating impacts of Hurricane Helene. It's not just a catastrophic storm, it's a historic, history-making storm. The entire Southeast and Appalachia. Damage from the hurricane stretches across at least 10 states. Winds over 120 miles an hour in some places. Storm surges up to 15 feet and record flooding. Communities are devastated. Loved ones waiting, not sure if their loved ones are okay, and they can't contact them because there's no cell phone connections. Many more folks displaced with no idea when they'll be able to be returned to their home, if ever, if there's a home to return to. So we're keeping them all in our prayers, and all the lives lost, and those particularly unaccounted for. There's nothing like wondering, is my husband, wife, son, daughter, mother, father alive? And many more who remain without electricity, water, food, and communications. And whose homes and businesses have washed away in an instant. I want them to know we're not leaving until the job is done. I also want you to know I'm committed to traveling to the impacted areas as soon as possible, but I've been told that it would be disruptive if I did it right now. We will not do that at the risk of diverting or delaying any of the response assets needed to deal with this crisis.
Okay, before he continues, because fair use. Now, keep in mind, I live in Greenville, South Carolina, people. Okay? Last week, Biden came on the 3rd, almost a week after Helene had hit. Power for people was starting to come back online. There were still sectors that still didn't have any power. There's still trees down in my apartment complex. This man just got off the plane, flew around, surveyed certain areas, got back on Air Force One, and jetted back to Washington. This man didn't see the degree of damage that this storm has done. And I'm going to also show you Kamala Harris' response, too.
My first responsibility is to get all the help needed to those impacted areas. And I expect to be there. Excuse me, I have a cold. I expect to be there later this week. I and my team are in constant contact with the governors, mayors, and local leaders. The head of FEMA, Deanne Griswold, is on the ground now in North Carolina. She's going to stay in Asheville and Appalachia region for the foreseeable future. There's been reports of over 100 dead and consequence of this storm, and there are reports of up to 600 people unaccounted for because they can't be contacted. God willing, they're alive, but there is no way to contact them again because of the lack of cell phone coverage. I've directed my team to provide every available resource as fast as possible to your communities to rescue, recover, and to begin rebuilding. In addition to FEMA, it includes the Federal Communications Commission to help establish communications capability, the National Guard, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the Department of Defense are going to provide all the resources at its disposal to rescue and assist in clearing debris and delivering life-saving supplies. So far, that's over 3,600 personnel deployed. That number is growing by the day. I quickly approved requests from governors of Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Virginia, and Alabama for an emergency declaration. And I approved additional requests for the governors of North Carolina, Florida, South Carolina, and for a disaster declaration to pay for debris removal and provide financial assistance directly to survivors. FEMA and the Small Business Administration are there to help the residents whose homes and businesses were literally destroyed, washed away, or blown away. And the federal search and rescue teams have been working side by side with state and local officials and partners in very treacherous conditions to find those who are missing. And they'll not rest until everyone's accounted for. I want to thank all the first responders and everyone who's been working around the clock. One of the brave teams who's volunteered to be there is from San Diego County Fire Department, set to travel all the way from California to North Carolina to help. But on their way, they were in a terrible car accident in Louisiana. We pray for their full recovery, but it was a bad accident. We know there's more to do. We will continue to surge resources, including food, water, communications, and life-saving equipment. We'll be there, as I said before, and I mean it, as long as it takes to finish this job. Let me close with this. As president, I've seen firsthand the devastating toll that disasters like this take on families and communities. I've been on the ground in many disaster areas since I've been president. Excuse me, and I've heard dozens of stories from survivors about how it feels to be left with nothing, not even knowing where or when to get back on track. I'm here to tell every single survivor in these impacted areas that we will be there with you as long as it takes. For the sake of yourselves, and your families, I urge everyone returning to their communities and home to listen to the local officials and follow all safety instructions. Take this seriously. Please be safe. Your nation has your back, and the Biden-Harris administration will be there until the job is done. God bless you all, and I'm thinking of those that are still wondering where your loved ones are. Thank you.
We need to supplemental to help the people in the Southeast, Mr. President.
Say again?
We need to ask Congress for a supplemental.
That's my expectation, yes.
You know, roughly how much you're thinking?
Not yet. This is a historic storm. It's devastating. They've never seen anything like this before. And some of them are back-to-back, 3 storms in a row. So it's really, really devastating.
Would you consider asking Congress to come back for a special session to pass a supplemental?
That is something I may have to request, but no decision has been made yet.
Do you have a sense of where you'll go when you are able to go, sir?
Yes, I told the governor of North Carolina to go down, and I expect to be down there by Wednesday or Thursday. It would be clear for me to go. You guys.
Like I said, Wednesday or Thursday, which was either the 2nd or the 3rd last week. I was here when he touched down. I was at work when he touched down in Greenville, South Carolina. He touched down right around 1 o'clock. I was at work.
To travel with me, you know, there's an entourage. This can be disruptive.
Is
Can
there
I
a
ask
mistake
you-
for President Trump to be down there today in Georgia? Is that disruptive?
I don't have any idea.
On another issue, on the other side of the world in the Middle East, it's our
I'm going to
understanding.
stick with this.
What's that?
I'm going to stick with this subject, but go ahead.
Well, just the fact that Israel may be now launching a limited operation into Lebanon. Are you aware of that? Are you comfortable with their plans?
I'm
Best you
more
know.
aware than you might know, and I'm comfortable with them stopping. We should have a ceasefire now. Thank
Mr.
you.
President,
Expect Iran to retaliate.
on the hurricane, Mr. President, why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend?
I was commanding. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I command. It's called a telephone.
Is
And
it-
all my security people.
Is it not important for the country to see? Supplemental to help the people in the Southeast, Mr. President?
Say again?
We need to ask Congress for a supplemental.
That's my expectation,
You
yes.
know, roughly how much you're thinking?
Not yet. This is a historic storm. It's devastating. They've never seen anything like this before. And some of them are back-to-back, 3 storms in a row. So it's really, really devastating.
Would you consider asking Congress to come back for a special session to pass a supplemental?
That is something I may have to request, but no decision's been made yet.
Do you have a sense of where you'll go when you are able to go, sir?
Yes, I told the governor of North Carolina to go down, and I expect to be down there by Wednesday or Thursday. It would be clear for me to go. You guys.
You know, let me see if I can find that video.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Kamala
How are you?
Harris.
Eddie Buffalo.
Thank you for your work, Mr. Buffalo.
Alan Boyd.
Thank you for your work.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Hi, I'm Esmeralda, I'm Mayor of Asheville. Good to
Oh,
see you.
yes, of course, Mayor. It's good to talk to you.
We're so glad to see you and welcome you once again to North Carolina. This has been an unprecedented disaster for our state. But what you are seeing, thanks to you and the Biden-Harris administration, state and local officials, volunteers, private organizations, this has been a massive, unprecedented response. We are deeply grateful for the federal resources that we have. FEMA has been on the ground with us since the very beginning of this. So we look forward to briefing and giving you details about the significant progress that's happening and all that we have to do. Unfortunately, we have 68 people who lost their lives, but people are still working hard in search and rescue to save people and to surge resources into Western North Carolina. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Governor, and I thank you all, everyone here. I've talked with many of you within actually hours and certainly days of Helene hitting this beautiful state, and I thank you all for the work you've been doing around the clock. Administrator, you and I have talked many, many times, and your team on the ground are just doing extraordinary work. But the work that's happening here that is so positively impacting so many people is really an example of the best we can do when we bring resources together at the federal, state, and local level and tap into the kind of collegiality that produces results. And this is the work that you all have been doing. For the folks who are local, I also know what this means for each of you as a leader, to be a leader at a time that your own homes, your families, your friends, people you know, your community has been directly hit. For the folks that work in your various divisions and offices, I know that they've been showing up at a moment of need for others, even when their own families and their own homes have been directly impacted. I think that these moments of crisis bring out some of the best of who we can be and who we are. I've been seeing and hearing the stories from here in North Carolina about strangers who are helping each other out, giving people assistance in every way that they need, including shelter, food, and friendship and fellowship. And so I thank everyone for all the work that they've been doing, those who are in the room and those who are out there right now working around the clock. And I'm also here because I wanted to make an announcement that yesterday we added Mecklenburg County to the major disaster declaration. So that means that we're going to be getting substantial resources in to help folks, and in particular to help them now be able to apply for federal assistance for a range of things that will be including home repair, what folks need in terms of generators or even just compensation for the generators that they've had to buy, the kind of shelter that they've had to seek, including hotels, and federal assistance for these issues is, I know, extremely important because a lot of folks don't save for these kinds of emergencies, and when they hit, it takes a real drain on their resources and ability to take care of themselves and their family. But again, I thank everybody here. I'm looking forward to our briefing, and I will say that also we are looking forward to working with our congressional partners. And Congresswoman, you've been a great leader to work with your colleagues, as you always do, so that we can get Congress to also issue the resources that FEMA will need to be an active and resourced federal partner with all of you on the ground at the state and local level. And with that, let's start our briefing.
All right.
I'm trying to find where well, she said that we're gonna only be getting $750 because that is fucking baffling. Where can I find that? Where can I find that?
So I'm here in Augusta to first and foremost thank the federal, state, and local leaders. Mayor, I want to thank you for your leadership in particular on the ground. I am here to personally take a look at the devastation, which is extraordinary, and it is particularly devastating in terms of the loss of life that this community has experienced, the loss of normalcy, and the loss of critical resources. And so I'm here today to thank all of those who are working to get folks the support and the relief that they so desperately need and so rightly deserve. And there is real pain and trauma that has resulted because of this hurricane and what has happened in terms of the aftermath of it. I do want to acknowledge and thank the first responders who have been extraordinary. Having met with them, they are the kind of folks that are the heroes in moments of crisis who do extraordinary work that is about lifting up other people. We are here for the long haul. There's a lot of work that's going to need to happen over the coming days, weeks, and months. And the coordination that we have dedicated ourselves to will be long-lasting to get families, to get residents, to get neighborhoods back up and running.
All right, so that's it for the YouTube sector. But I want you to take a look at what's going on with people from hold on right quick. Because there's a lot of shit that's going on.
So here's what the cleanup efforts look like in Marshall, North Carolina, about 3 or 4 days after the flood.
copywriting, so I'm gonna have to. Golly. Oh my God. This is Mitchell. Wow. Yeah. Listen to this. Okay. First time driving into Asheville after having no gas and seeing the unimaginable. You never thought this would happen to you, but until it does. She's just crying. Chimney Rock. This was Chimney Rock before. And here's after. Jesus. Smoky Mountains.
Western North Carolina, and East Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains. All roads are closed in Western North Carolina. The only way to Asheville, North Carolina is by air. Here is I-40 completely inaccessible, going state to state. Every resident was told to get out of their home, go to higher ground. But these bridges, these roads, they're not intact. If you zoom in close here, you can see people on their roof climbing to the top. If you've seen my other videos, you have real life footage of people in their homes as these floods came in. Waterville Dam, the Lake Lure Dam, had become faulty. Based on the terrain of the mountains, everything is floating downwards. Within a couple of hours, these residents got up to a foot of rain in a couple of hours. Even first responders couldn't even get to anybody, and their lives were at stake as well. Even roads as 74, I-26 that lead into I-40, inaccessible. Houses have been floating away. Long-term businesses there for decades and decades, gone. Even to get to a local Walmart, no one can get food or water. Many people are without cell phone service, way to call home, way to call for help, and honestly, just nowhere to go. Even cows, horses, terrible videos of them being washed away in the water. Appalachian State students, their cars going underwater. This region needs your prayers. Though the rain has stopped, the flooding may still accumulate. Like I said, we have an Airbnb in the Smoky Mountains. If you're able to get there, we have some open dates coming up. Please reach out to me.
That's crazy. Just $750, y'all. Y'all dealing with all of this shit. But yeah. And this is Asheville. Look at this. This is my home state. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. And I know Charlotte got hit bad too. But not like this. And then there's another hurricane coming. There's another hurricane coming. Y'all, all I'm going to say is this. Oh.
Lake Lure Dam, and they have been told from the Lake Lure Dam, and they have been told to evacuate, get to higher ground right away. You can see that.
Says the news is lying about the death toll in North Carolina right now.
An immense amount of water.
Many citizens from other states are personally delivering. Hold up. The dam failure led to multiple cities being wiped out, not just Asheville. Even the people living in surrounding cities don't know the full truth of how many people are missing.
From the Lake Lure Dam, and they have been told to evacuate, get to higher ground right away. You can see that immense amount of water rushing through the dam as they continue releasing water, hoping that that relieves pressure on the dam and it does not breach.
The government has left hundreds to die. Meanwhile, they're giving our tax dollars to motherfuckers that... Let me calm down before I get... Let me stop. Let me chill before I get mad. I'm already on edge because of this shit. I'm trying to calm down. But this... Yeah. ladies and gentlemen, this is what our government is doing. Your tax dollars are going towards migrants, illegal migrants that don't belong here. Meanwhile, you're going through this hellscape. I'm going to say this. My heart goes out to everybody that's been affected by the hurricane. And soon, I pray to God, soon I can give me a pickup so I can actually start doing some of these deliveries myself. Because this is crazy. FEMA's broke. And I'm going to post a link to Anton's video down below. But FEMA's broke. Meanwhile, you over here can't even get water. But they have the money to give to migrants. Yeah, okay. Sure. I'm going to say this. They don't realize how pissed off a lot of Americans are. We're funding proxy wars. We're funding Ukraine, Israel, and all these other skirmishes going on. We're funding them. Funding illegal migrants to the tune of billions of dollars being pumped into them. Meanwhile, our citizens are struggling to get disaster relief from both the East and the West Coast. People can't afford to fucking live. But these people can afford to keep on sending your money over to the other countries to fund their bullshit. This government doesn't realize how much of a verge these people are literally teetering on collapse at this point. They're teetering on collapse. Americans are getting just fed up. My heart goes out to everybody that's been hurt and affected by this storm. And by the up and coming storm from Milton. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't watch my channel, if you need to focus on yourself to get your money up, to do any of that stuff, I understand. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching my content. I don't beg for donations. I don't want anybody to send me any donations. Get your families together and get your families safe. Stay safe during these trying times. I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.